Good morning. Welcome to Time in His Word. Have you ever thought about the people who, in one way or another, have had an impact in your life? Not necessarily strangers or somebody you've seen on television who you've seen overcome adversity and they go on to live a normal life or do something great and wonderful. But how about people that you know directly, or members of your own family who have went through stuff and they just leave a huge impact? I have a cousin who was hurt in the military, and they told him he would never walk again, and he proved them wrong. He was able to go back to ride motorcycles and all of that as he did before. Eventually his I don't want to say illness, eventually he ended up in a wheelchair and he can hardly walk now, but that's just because of what had happened to him. That was the course it was going to take. But he's learned to bowl in a wheelchair, and he has a pretty good average, and he's a veteran, so he does a traveling veterans league. And whenever I'm having a bad day, I just think of him and what he's overcome, what he's able to do. And you know what? My bad day's not that bad. While he lives in another state and I don't see him as often as I would like to, I still think of him. And I still think of the impact he has had on my life. From I think when he had his incident, I was 16, so it's been a good 40 plus years now, a little bit closer to home. I was going to do this the other day, but I didn't think emotionally I could do it without breaking down. But this morning I believe I can. There is a young girl, young lady I should say. I've known her since elementary school. When she was in high school, she had a tumor, and they told her to get to the tumor, it could possibly leave her blind, and it did. But yet she overcame that, and she graduated with her class. And no matter when you talk to her, or no matter when you see her, she's bubbly, exciting, always positive outlook, always positive attitude. And she loves Jesus, and she'll tell you she loves Jesus, and she tells you that's how she's gotten through this, and it's impacted me greatly in one way or the other. Well, her tumor has come back, and now they're trying to figure out what to do. And I've talked to her the last couple of mornings because she's in the hospital waiting to get transferred to a bigger one. And so we've talked the last few mornings because laying around a hospital, I don't care what your condition is just boring. And some people want visitors, some don't. She wants you to call and visit, and we do. But I got to thinking about the impact that she has had on lives, directly or indirectly, over the years. And the one verse that keeps coming to mind is in Proverbs, the 27th chapter, verse 17. It says, "Iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another." And that's key there. So one man sharpens another. So while people have influenced her to help her grow into the adult that she has become, she has influenced more people by what the adversity she's overcome to still have a positive outlook, to still have a positive take on life, and to still be bubbling. I'm sure people wonder how she does it. I know I do at times when I think about all the adversity she's went through, and yet she's still bubbly and joyful and happy. And it makes me think that on my worst day, it can't be no worse than her worst day's ever been. So therefore, when I think I'm having a bad day, I think of her, and my bad day's gone. And it's amazing how some things happen that we just don't understand, can't explain, can't understand the reasoning why God does what he does. But It's that old thing, ours is not the reason why. But I've always felt like that he's got a bigger plan for her. And maybe it's just to be that positive influence that people need when they're having a bad day and they think of what she's went through and where she's at. And she's still strong, and she's still courageous, and she still has an influence on people no matter what happens. And we need people in our lives like that. They give us more than they realize in getting us through the day. And we look at them and we're just in awe of the strength they have with the adversity that they overcome. I know I'm sounding kind of rumbling this morning, but it just one of those deals that I marvel at the people who go through things like that and they come out in a positive way, and yet we gripe and complain over a stubbed toe. So if you get a chance today, lift her up in prayer. She's facing uncertainty. She's nervous about that. But at the same time, she says she's not worried because God's going to take care of her because he's taken care of her thus far. And I think that's what draws people to her, and the strength they gain from her is the strength that she shows and the strength that she has to overcome this and to think of it as, it's no big deal. We'll get through it. God's got me through worse. He'll get me through this. We need a little bit of that in our lives. And that's why she's been such a huge influence in mine. When I think about it, like I said, well, my worst day, it doesn't compare to hers. But yet, I can always call or talk to her or hear her name, and it lifts my spirits.